what are the most significant challenges you face in transforming workplace culture and leadership within your organization or those of your clients?
Well, actually, you can change yourself and your own organization, but changing your client is very difficult.
Right.
I have no idea how to actually pursue in trying to change a client's organization.
Right.
But if you want to change yourself,
Sorry.
that's possible, huh?
Right.
Sorry?
So sorry to interrupt, but it's probably because it's such a long, wordy question. I wasn't talking about how you would change your client's organization, though in some
Yeah.
of my interviewees have addressed that. It's more along the lines of, because I'm interviewing not only leaders, but people who are not necessarily leaders, but work with leaders. So it would be like your observations of leadership and culture change within other organizations for themselves, right? Because you're a leader as well as somebody who could change culture in your own organization, but your observations, the significant challenges you may have seen in a client's organization, you're not interfering, but you've noticed what maybe works and what doesn't work. So that's what I mean, not you changing your clients as such,
Right.
rather
What you
your
can
observations and understanding of other organizations you've worked with, as well as your own.
Well, I think that if you're looking at, and when you're working with other people, you see and you observe what is going on there, and you have your meetings, and if you're looking at what mostly you see and observe things which you think is not good instead of what is good, actually. And if you're looking at internally, what I like is if you can actually actively can receive the feedback from your team, from the organization itself, in order to actually learn yourself from it and learn as an organization how to actually improve. And what I liked, for instance, that was some idea that from my team came, is that to use all kind of methodologies of receiving and creating feedback culture, which I think is helping to actually improve how teams work, how organizations can work, and to make yourself a better. You will become a better person, a better leader in actually using those inputs from the people, but also implementing them from what you actually learn. But also if you're looking at what you actually learned from other organizations, because you don't know always how they are working internally, but you can actually observe what's going on there, but maybe be careful with certain things which you observe, because I think from other people observing, you can observe the good things, but also the bad things. And normally you would be more prone to observe things which you don't like, actually. And I don't know if this is something that you've seen as well, but if there's something which you don't like, that's giving a much more higher impact to what you observe than something which you think is good.
You're absolutely right there, and that's the research supports that. So the research in particular of something called negativity bias. I used to think that it looked at things negatively. That is, I felt like it was easier to be pessimistic and see bad things and good things, until I read a book or listened to a book, whatever, by Roy Baumeister that was called The Power of Bad. And that was exactly what it was. I believe, but I'm not absolutely certain, he was the one who identified what is now called the negativity bias. He went through languages all over the world and did some other things, and he found out that people or languages have a much higher number of words to describe negative things. And from an evolutionary an evolutionary point of view, it makes sense, right? If you hear something that you think might be a wild animal outside, you don't, the optimists, cave people got eaten by the sound that they assumed was friendly. So it was really worth it. I love what he said, because he said in the book, he said, life has to win every day. Death has to win only once. So we do actually have an inherited negativity bias because it helped our ancestors survive. But that brings me to an interesting point here. What I love you did is you actually had a solution mindset. You said, here are some ways to solve the challenges. So I want to flip that back on you. And that is the question I asked you, which is, what are the most significant challenges that you face in transforming workplace culture and leadership? That is, you've identified solutions, which I think is impressive and I love it. Can you tell me what challenges you face that these solutions address?
It always depends on what type of organization you are in, and what kind of change you can actually accomplish. If you have like a good influence towards the people that you're actually working with, then it can be implemented. If you are in if you're looking at larger organizations, sometimes they have a culture which is set. If you want to change this from a smaller, if you're for instance, you have a department or something. If you want to change your department, you can change your department, but you can improve your department, but you cannot improve the whole company. So that's one of the challenges that you have, is to see that you're always influenced by the surrounding, and the people are influenced by the surroundings. So changing culture is something which is a quite a long-term activities. It's not something that you can actually do from today to tomorrow. It's something that you actually have to work on over and over again, over years, probably. And if this is within a large organization which has a bad company culture, it can happen that you actually will not be able to succeed in that. So if it's in a company where you have like more influence and using these kind of methods to actually establish it, you will succeed. So it's a bit different in the way that you can actually do that. It depends on what kind of influence you can actually establish in that organization. It's not so black and white, actually, because even in aerospace there is a lot of checks in the whole engineering process, in the whole certification process, that there is still a possibility to just have a complete strange organization and still make good products in the end. It's just that it will not be as efficient. And if you have like a large organization in aerospace, it can be that the organization or the sub-organization become a so powerful entity with not always the same interest as the company has. And that will be then, so for instance, some sub-organizations are powerful because they have a lot of people in it, and not because of the value that they bring, for instance, to the product or to the company itself. And that's a strange situation, because then these organizations tend to not become more valuable to the company, but more like having their value is an existence of creating a larger organization, which sounds like absurd, and it is absurd actually, but it's things that sometimes can happen.
I agree, right? good results sort of speak for themselves, but it seems to be that a good culture is indicative of better or faster results, because you can have a terrible culture and still wind up with great results, but it's more likely to happen in the case of good culture fosters good results, or at least fosters them faster and more efficiently.
Absolutely, absolutely. And change is inevitable. You have to change, and everybody has to change. And change will go faster and faster, especially with all the tools that we have right now, and the AIs which are popping up everywhere, actually, with all kinds of things. And so if you're not able to change, you will cease to exist in this world. You will not have a purpose in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to get faster and faster, and there is no job in the world that will not be affected by things like AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's enormous, huh? Since when are we using what is it again? A Grammarly or something, huh? Which is the first AI that everybody's been using, but now ChatGPT and all things, huh?